You mentioned it before opening night. You're like, you should look down this Dallas roster. You're like, I don't know how many guys there really are that I'm fearing.
Yeah. Dallas.
Yeah,
Jason Kidd is on their
Yeah.
ass talking about how it looked like a shoot around defensively. They've hit a little skid here, and
So it's a bad skid right now, Chris.
it's a bad skid, and they lost
really
Christian
bad.
Wood,
Yeah.
which is very
their
problematic.
second best player.
Yeah, very problematic. And I thought it was fascinating. My buddy Tim McMahon from ESPN put out this thing about Luka. We don't really hear much about Luka and his thoughts on things. He's never been particularly vocal, but Tim always knows, and he wrote this. Doncic has been more spectacular than ever this season, efficiently leading the league in scoring despite frequent double teams and dragging Dallas to a 24-21 record. Good enough for fifth place in the West. He's certainly not satisfied to be in the middle of the playoff pack. He's a fiery competitor with a championship pedigree, having won titles with the Slovenian national team and Real Madrid, and patience isn't high on his list of virtues. Sources said Doncic, who hasn't shown a desire to be involved in personnel matters in the past, has strongly indicated he wants the Mavs to upgrade before the February 9th trade deadline. So first we've heard of that.
Isn't it interesting? Mark Cuban came out, Tim McMahon, he put out the statement himself, and Cuban said, Tim McMahon got it dead wrong. Luka has never suggested, asked, demanded, or discussed changes to the roster. Tim McMahon himself tweeted out that statement from Mark Cuban. It's just kind of funny how Cuban, such an outspoken owner, comes out of nowhere denying it. Like that was not. It's not like he said Luka's angry and may demand a trade. It was Luka thinks there should be moves. That's all it was.
It said has strongly indicated he wants the Mavs to upgrade.
Yeah, it felt like an innocent report to me. I was very surprised Cuban came out the way he did.
Well, it's sensitive. I don't know. Did you see this past week? Didn't get a ton of national attention. But did you see the mural that the guy painted on the side of the wall?
No, I did not.
Of Luka. There was a mural of a guy painted a thing of Luka, and he's holding up a sign that says,
"Oh no, yeah.
Get me help."
I didn't know that was a mural. I thought it was just like art. I didn't see the mural on a wall.
It was art. I mean, it was the side of a building.
I mean, I thought it was like a social post or something. No.
Like, and it said, "Get me help," and they said,
"Yeah."
Cuban called the artist and said it was disrespectful.
Okay, I just pulled it open. Yeah, I see it was like physically on a wall.
Yeah.
Please send help.
And they said Cuban reached out to the artist and called it disrespectful. So this is a sore spot, is what I'm saying. It's a sore spot.
I mean, the artists are right. The report is right. Look at the roster. We talked. You mentioned it before opening night. You're like, you should look down this Dallas roster. You're like, I don't know how many guys there really are that I'm fearing.
Yeah. I mean, it's him. That's who you fear.
Yeah. That's
it.
And
how many of those guys are you counting on? And the big thing is, think about what a different world this would be. I hate to bring this up, but you want to know how it's got to be a super sore spot too. Seeing Jalen Brunson get this all-star love, and people are like, Jalen Brunson doing so great in New York, and it's like, holy mother, you had a guy, like you had him. All you had to do was do right by him, make him whole. You could have had him for $60 million, according to them. So that has just got to be something that just keeps you up at night, honestly. When you're sitting there going, we could have had the guy for $60-something million. But that's by all reports. And we didn't do it. And so then he ended up walking and getting 100-something. And then we cried about tampering or whatever. Like, bro, you should have just taken care of the guy. And so that was a bad precedent to send. And then he blows up in the playoffs. He's better than your coach first expected him to be, and frankly, your organization knew he was, thought he was, or else you would have committed to him. And now you look up and it's like, we don't even have Jalen Brunson right now. You just said Christian Wood is the second best player on the team. Who's the third? Hardaway Jr.?
Dinwiddie.
Okay.
I saw this stat tweeted out yesterday by J.A. Dubin on Twitter. He put the Bucks defense the year before they hired Jason Kidd was 30th. The first year with Kidd was 4th. The second year with Kidd was 23rd. The Mavs defense, the year before Jason Kidd, it was 20th, their defensive rating. Year one, moved up to 6th. This year, down to 24th. The Jason Kidd effect seems to last 1 year. And then it all goes away. You can partially blame personnel, but the Jason Kidd decisions throughout this entire year, the weird Christian Wood decisions, continuing to feed JaVale McGee minutes early on, Kidd deserves some blame here as well. Cuban in the front office do too. It's not just one person in particular here. It's not just the Brunson decision. It's a whole lot of issues happening around Luka right now. So if Cuban is being honest here, and he actually hasn't received any indication from Luka that, hey, there needs to be improvements here around me, they should be feeling pressure themselves. You don't need Luka to tell you that, to think, okay, we gotta be better here, or this is gonna be LeBron leaving Cleveland, going to Miami, repeating history.
Let me just say, I 100 million % believe Tim McMahon and his sources. 100 million.
But regardless of what it is,
you shouldn't even need that. I get it.
You don't need it. Yes.
Well, I mean, you might have, look, you pair it up with the soreness that's probably going on. You have that mural thing that I told you about. Do you see the other quote that was out there this week? If I had to, I would do anything to keep Luka, basically like a long-term or lifetime Mav. If my wife said me or him long-term on the Mavs, then I'd meet her at the courthouse. And like, come on, bro.
Yeah. That was Cuban said that sometime, last year or something like that? That was funny. Yeah.
So yeah, I think anything is a little bit sensitive with that topic, probably, I'm sure. But yeah, look, they got to figure it out now without Christian Wood. So that was the original point of this, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah.